how to get noticed by recruiters. That's one of the big questions. One of the big questions I get all the time from software developers, or actually, candidates in general. Anybody who's a job seeker who's looking for a new employment, a new role. And I'm just going to give you a bit of background on where recruiters kind of come from. What do they look for? What are their kind of mandates? And how can you prepare to make sure you get the most visibility possible on the online presence and databases or applicant tracking system, any job you applied to. That's where we're going to get started. So I'll give a brief introduction about myself. So I've worked in the industry for several years now. I actually worked in Canada and in the United States for clients, from small startups to large tech startups, as well as I work with governmental agencies, and I've worked with public sector organizations, companies that's been in IPOs as well. So I work with all different sizes of organizations, from tech to finance to hospitality to medical. So I've definitely seen through the type of companies across the board. And now I've joined Arc's mission in helping developers build amazing remote careers from anywhere. So first thing we're going to go through is how to play the recruiter game and beat it, followed by how to structure a professional profile, and finally by what you can do to stand out from the sea of developers that's out there. Seems to be hearing some background noise. If possible, everybody please mute yourself to not distract others. Move on to the next one. All right, so how to play the recruiter game and beat it. So the first thing I think it's important for everybody to know is just to understand what the recruiter background is and the training, what they've been taught to do in their actual job. So recruiters, for most part, recruiters are not technical. They're not savvy they're not developers, they're not engineers. Some of them may be, but majority of recruiters come from any sort of background. It could be arts, it could be business, it could be people may not even have a degree in this role. You don't need to have education to be a recruiter, but you're trained to do the job effectively. And what you're being taught to do is we're a keyword based type of role where companies come to us. They have a list of requirements. Now, if these requirements are listed with 15 different things they're looking for, we try to cut this down to a manageable size within, 5 or so, and we'll look at our tools to find these individuals, what we call sourcing. So we are a keyword specific type of role where we look at keywords that the companies look for their requirements, and we try to find the best people who has either the most or most relevant keywords to what we're looking for. And all the tools we use actually help developers who have the most keywords or most relevant keywords stand on the top. So if you want to be contacted, you want to be on top of the list. You want to make sure you're on page 1 of Google, not page 10 or even page 2 or 3 of Google, because chances are you're not going to get that far. So, and how do we optimize that? We want to structure a profile in a very easy to read way. Make sure you have bullet points, short sentences, direct key points, indicate the tech stacks and project details. The project details in the sense that you want to put specific data or numerical facts that you've done in those roles that can show the completion, the project, just more specifics about the project rather than saying, I manage a project or I developed this application. Like, tell me about specific, what did you do? What are your responsibilities? The tech stacks, list the tech environment that you're working on, program languages, it could be the cloud services. You can talk about the backend services as well, whichever is relevant. For most part, we want to include tech stacks for every employment, every project that you have as well. This will help you appear at the top list in the search as well. You don't want to overwhelm your readers. You don't want to include everything you did. You don't want to put in like a full page of responsibility just for one role. You don't want to have long paragraphs either. I've seen a lot of people with resumes having long paragraphs, multiple paragraphs of what they're doing. Have it in bullet points, having short and concise. That's easy. That's easy to read as well. Again, recruiters are not technical, but we're experts in keyword searching. control find is probably the most used function we use to find candidates. We search them in the pool, and then as soon as it pop up, we need to double check that they actually have those keywords in the employments that say they do or we're looking for. So this is an example of a resume or profile here, and how not to structure a profile. It's to keep it simple and optimized for databases. Now, you see here on the left-hand side, there's a bunch of responsibilities there. What's indicated, it looks great off top of mine, right? And what you don't notice here is you don't have any numerical values. You don't see, okay, what when they have worked on these different areas within the project and their role, what have they improved? What were their objective? What were their goals? How did they increase the efficiency or the productivity of that application? And also on the right hand side, you see all the skills that are listed that as well. And it's great to see the skills listed there. But what you don't see, this is actually showing the skills of that entire candidate profile, not for a job specific one. There's also a lot of technology environments or um, technical aspects of this role that may not be listed for this employment. So if we move on to the next slide, we'll see a better understanding of how we can structure a resume that is more, it's easier to read on an applicant tracking system or database, as well as make you appear at the top of the list. So at the top, you see a bit of summary of this profile. You have numerical values about, okay, increased delivery speed of 7%, evaluation accuracy 12% there. If you look at work experience and responsibilities, to talk about how they're maintaining an 100% uptime on delivered software that they have. They worked on 115 distributed software system projects. These are the things that we want to see as a recruiter, as a hiring manager as well, so that you can get a better sense of what this person has taken on in this particular role. And you can also compare from one position to the next as well. And lastly, at the bottom, you see the skills of tech stack. You see a lot more technologies listed here, which is a great thing. This gives a better understanding to the reader of what your skills are, what you use. You don't have to include every single thing that's out there that you've done in the past, but you do want to include a good reasonable amount so the reader can get an understanding of the environment you're working in. All right. So how can you stand out? Activity on social media regarding your work, GitHub, LinkedIn, Twitter. Nowadays, the software tools we use to find candidates actually crawl, I don't know, 15, 20 different websites, including all the ones I listed here. So they'll take a look at your social activity, they'll take a look at your posts, they'll take a look at anything we can find about your profile, we can see online. As long as it's publicly available, we'll be able to find that. So if you want to appear on top list, how the tools we use will rank you is by, okay, how much activity you have, how relevant is this to your profession. If we're hiring a software developer that codes in, JavaScript, are you having posts? Do you have GitHub? Um, do you have an active GitHub account that has this type of code as well? And you also want to give your professional profile some personality as well. As in this professional profile, sorry, there seems to be somebody that hasn't unmuted. Please make sure everybody is muted so we don't disturb the rest of the attendees. Thank you very much. So now one thing we see a lot is, let's say I'm looking for a Java developer. There are hundreds, thousands of Java developers out there. How do you make it so that you appear on top list? We talked about being active on social media. We talked about using keywords. I'm making sure that you indicate more technologies and within the environment that you have that are there. You also want to give it a bit of personality in the sense that, hey, if I look at 15 profiles, they all are very similar. one thing that a lot of companies look for, especially tech startups, is they want to find somebody that is invested. They want to find somebody who's passionate about what they do. They want to find somebody that is interested, not just for this job, but they actually believe in the company as well. So it has a lot more to do about that culture, that personality, that drive of this individual than just are they able to do this job? Because there's a lot of people that can do this job, but will you be the best person to do this job? And how do you indicate this to the reader, which is the recruiters or hiring manager, before you even have a chance to talk to them? Most people won't have a chance to speak with a recruiter or a hiring manager, and you want to make sure you're one of those that has the opportunity to do that. And by doing so, you get a lot higher chance of, you know, I guess projecting that your motivations across. Reach out to individuals that can contribute to hiring decisions is something that I could do as well. I've actually have seen a number of developers reach out to HR professionals within the company they're looking to apply to, hiring managers, or even to talent partners or recruiters. So don't be afraid to reach out to individuals. Everybody has a LinkedIn profile. If you really feel that you want to join that company or you can contribute to this organization, by all means, reach out to them. There's nothing for you to lose on that. And if anything, you'll be the one standing out among hundreds of thousands of people. All right. The wrap up. So if we move on to the next slide, I did list a few things that we can go through there. The biggest thing, the biggest takeaway I would say is keywords. Keywords. Light up your resume like a Christmas tree. Make sure the things that you've done, it's indicated in your profile. In every employment, in every project, what we like to do as recruiters is we want to look and find evidence. We want to find evidence that you've done the thing that we're looking for. So if we're looking for a software developer that has worked on e-commerce projects before, we want to see that you have done that recently. We want to find keywords that's done that. If we're looking for somebody that has used Node.js on AWS before, we want to find somebody who has done that recently in the current job, in the last job, in the previous jobs. So it needs to show up in the sense that it needs to be relevant, and we want to make sure, for the most part, that either you've done the job to do the job, or you have what it takes from your background to be able to do this job effectively. Hiring managers and a lot of technical recruiters actually, in this market, it's a little different. I gotta say, it's kind of weird market these days, given the economic situation for the tech environment. But I would say, for the
Thank
most
you.
part, there are a lot of candidates out there, and again, you want to stand out from the pack, especially from a profile standpoint. Look, a clean and concise profile resume. Again, I did mention that briefly. I'll echo it again. It's very important. I've seen resumes that are 15, 20 pages long. Nobody's going to read that. 5 pages long, okay, is stretching it. Really want to keep it concise. Within 3, 4 pages, you should probably be able to recap everything. If you only have a couple of years experience, 1 page is probably enough, right? So don't try to oversell, but you do want to make sure that the reader is able to see what you've done clearly without much searching, and they can find what you do by using Control Find. That's really what we use on a daily basis. Be active in your developer community. If you really want to stand out, you can definitely be active there, whether it's on GitHub, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, posting about relevant focused of things that you're doing, whether it's about coding, whether it's about product management, project management within the industry. Just show that you're active. It does make a huge difference compared to the next person. And lastly, don't be afraid to reach out to decision makers. I know sometimes, we may never hear back from those. You might feel like it's going to a black hole, but I can assure you, they would read that, and there's a lot higher chance of you getting a call to an interview by reaching out to the decision maker than for you to just apply into a job and hoping there's a response. So that is it. Any questions?
Yes.
Thanks so much, Jeff. I do see a few questions. For time's sake, I think we'll take maybe 2 or 3 questions. So one of the questions here is, do you find that it's helpful for a developer to post on like a personal blog or tutorials or just show projects that they've done? Is that something that you would look for?
Yeah, definitely. If you can share your portfolio on LinkedIn, your personal blog, on GitHub, wherever, right? And it's really nuts these days when you think about the tools that we use. There are a lot of AI generated tools. It crawls across all websites, so we will pick up on that, and you'll definitely show up higher in the ranking.
Okay, great advice. So another question is about someone that's reaching out proactively to recruiters or hiring managers and not getting any responses. So do you have tips for like maybe how they can increase their response rate when they're doing the active outreach?
I would say, like, if they have a particular position, then let them know that you're interested in this position. Sometimes you may not have the background that they're looking for, right? And be open with that to get that feedback as well. You can always indicate that and let them know that, hey, for whatever reason, if my profile is not a fit, please let me know how I can improve, because I really would like to join this company, and I'd like to prepare myself if there's an opportunity for me to join you guys down the line. So if you go ahead and let them know that you're somebody that is looking to improve yourself to join this company, the motivation is there. They'll definitely see that, and you'll increase that response rate as well.
Thanks, Jeff. Okay, let's do one more question. It seems like there's a popular question for some of the junior developers in the audience that maybe they don't have that real world experience yet. What advice would you give to them when they're just trying to maybe find their first role?
So great question there. For junior developers, personal projects, getting internships, obviously is something that not everybody has the opportunity to do that. But if you do, I do suggest you do that. There are individuals that I know that's taken an internship even after they've graduated. So getting that first small internship for a few months will make a big difference to your next step in a real opportunity. Personal projects does make a big difference on GitHub as well. You can use personal projects and add more details to that into your resume. I have seen a lot of junior profiles that included a lot of things they've done personally, which was not instructed by another organization, and it looked very strong in terms of profile. It gives exposure to them with different technologies. So I would definitely look into that if I was in your shoes right now.
Thanks so much, Jeff. So for time's sake, those are the only questions we're going to take for right now. I do see some other questions about how Arc works or Arc featuring and things like that. So do stay for the virtual meet and greet. We'll have one of our teammates there to answer some of those questions for you all. And of course, you can continue to reach out to us after the event as well. We can help you there. So thanks so much, Jeff, really for sharing all of your advice and your experience with us. And yeah, you can hang out with us for the rest of the event or do whatever you'd like. We're going to go on to the startup pitches right now. Thanks so much.
See everybody.
All right. So, all right, you should be able to see my screen now. So now we're going to move on to the startup pitches. So we've invited several companies to come here today and to share with you a bit about themselves. So I've listed some of the companies here. Some of them will be speaking to us live, and then some of the other companies, due to time zones and different reasons, were not able to join us live, but they'll be presented with their open roles in the virtual meet and greet. So to get us started, I think we will start with the teammate from STEM. So let's see. Johnson, would you help us to highlight the teammate from STEM who I'm going to chat with today?
Hi, guys. Can you pull up Franco and myself? I forgot to put the little above my name.
No problem. Let's see. I can see, Franco, you're definitely starred, and then KJ. Yeah, I think when you speak, you can go ahead and speak to answer these questions, and either of you. Okay.
Okay, great. That's good. So should we just dive in?
First, okay, so we had some representatives from STEM here today, and would you just share, since there's two of you, what's your role within the company? And then we'll get started and talk more about the company itself. Oops.
You're muted.
Oh, yeah, Kinsley, you're muted.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you now.
Sorry, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone across multiple time zones. I'm KJ Hadgis, and I'm our primary recruiter here at STEM Disintermedia. I'm joined with my colleague, Franco. Franco, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello, everyone. I'm Franco. I'm a senior software developer at STEM. So nice to meet you all. Let's start.
Awesome. Thanks so much for both of you being here. So for either one of you who wants to answer, or both, go ahead in whichever order. Tell us about your product and what are you building? What is STEM?
Yeah, sure. So I guess I'll get started. So STEM Disintermedia is this really cool bridge between fintech and the music industry. Our products are one with vision to bring clarity to the music industry and give independent artists, small labels, and their management teams the tools to own their own vision. We do this one of three ways, by providing fair and flexible distribution, payment offerings, and financing. So ultimately who we are, we're a distributor. We're building a new platform for independent artists and labels that currently don't distribute music, so they can get paid and process royalties much faster. Franco, do you want to add anything?
No, I think that's cool.
Cool, yeah, that's who we are.
So let's talk about the engineering team in particular. So, and maybe Franco's a better one to answer this. What do you feel is unique about your engineering team at STEM?
Well, I guess I can start. So one of the first things that you can see inside our team is that we really encourage improving and suggestions between our own team. So we have several meetings in which we encourage people to talk and to give opinion on what they think would be best for the team. How can we improve? How can we do things better? What things are working and we need to do more of that. So that's one very cool thing. And the other, we really encourage testing a lot using unit tests. And that's a very technical thing that I really like, because not all companies are like that. It's always too much to do and not enough time, and we always leave testing for the last part, but in STEM we really encourage that. KG, you want to talk a little more about the
Yeah,
project?
absolutely. So I can comment just on a broader sense about our engineering team's culture. We're a very diverse team and a very diverse company. We have roughly around 75 employees, currently 17 developers on our engineering team, from United States, Brazil, Peru, Mexico, and Japan. So definitely have some really great international folks as well. And I think what is something truly unique to STEM specifically with our development team is that we will push you. We want to hire people who want to learn, grow, become more ambitious, and feel comfortable working autonomously, but also collaboratively. You'll really feel engaged and connected with your colleagues across not only engineering, but our product team as well. Our international hires are just as equally valued and important as our domestic hires. We recently had a company retreat in Austin, Texas last week, and flew out everybody to that retreat, including our international people.
Wow, that's awesome. So you're talking about who your team is, a little bit about them. In addition to being diverse and international, what kind of people would be a great fit for your team? And maybe what kind of people would not be a great fit? So we're talking about, who the ideal culture match for you would be.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said before, we are looking for full stack engineers. We definitely value people who are able to work on both sides of the stack. That's really important. We want people who feel comfortable in seeing a project from start to finish, and who value delivering product that's of high value and quality to our customers. Someone who enjoys working collaboratively, but also can handle enormous amounts of responsibility on their own. Franco, I'm sure you have a few things you want to add.
Yeah, definitely. So, well, I would say I want to stress that really ownership is very important. Someone that is able to take some task and commit to deliver it and in the best way possible, understanding the business. Genuine interest in the business is also very important. We like to deliver. One of our values is to be artist-centric, so we need to take the client's perspective in mind at all times. As KJ said, also we like someone who is a full stack developer. It's fluent in both backend and front-end development. And yeah, who would not be a great fit? I think people who expect to be deliver some specific, really specific discern requirement and just take it home and work on it isolated. That is not going to work for us. We need strong communication. We need to always talk to each other, to the product team, and maybe as well people that are more technical driven. So people who like just to use the latest stack or the I don't know, last thing that came up in the recent years. It's not that we are outdated. We are using recent technologies, but we definitely focus more on delivering what is best for the business.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I just want to kind of bounce off of Franco and emphasize, if you have like an offshore mentality, you're probably not going to be the best fit for our company. Like even our international employees have equal weight here at STEM. You have the same amount of responsibilities, the same amount of expectations, opportunities to collaborate as any of our in-house employees. So if you're looking for a job where you can just kind of clock in, clock out, stay in your lane, keep your head down, like this might not be the best fit for you because we're just not that kind of company.
So some people are asking the question about what technologies you use, what front-end and back-end tech stacks do you use. And maybe you can also just combine that with any open roles you're looking for right now.
Yeah, so our main stack is React for the front end and Django, Python for ones that don't use Python, and Django REST framework in the backend, and Postgres as a database, some AWS as well is part of our stack.
Yep, and we're currently hiring a senior software engineer as well as a senior product designer. That being said, we're kind of always hiring engineers. So even if we don't have a job open, after we fill this position, like please reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's kind of a revolving door. Additionally, we are going to be opening an engineering manager position probably next quarter or spring of 2023.
Awesome, thank you. I actually saw a question earlier today at the event asking if there were engineering manager roles. So I think, I think it's really great. This job fair will hopefully get you connected with the different levels and roles that are appropriate for you. So thanks so much. Is there anything else that either of you would like to add before we wrap up your pitch?
I don't know. I mean, I hope you guys join STEM. I'm on LinkedIn as well as Franco. We're always an email away too. I'm happy to share that information after this chat. But we're a really great company. We're super chill too, guys. If you guys just like music, you like playing music, listening to music, then we're the company for you. We're trying to, our slogan is unfuck the music industry and really disrupt it. Give the power back to individual artists. And so if that's something you're passionate about, please come join our team.
Awesome. Thank you so much, KJ and Franco, for the time. And we will have a meet and greet after the startup pitches. We'll have a few of those. So if you do have questions, I know there was a lot of questions in the Q&A. You can go ahead and ask those representatives in that session. So it'll be about probably a half hour for now as we wrap up this part. Okay? All right. Thanks,
Amazing.
Franco.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So the next company we're going to speak with today is CropConex. So we have Sam from CropConex to share a bit about his team and what they're building. So let's see.
Can you guys see and or hear me? There we go.
Yeah, we had to spotlight you. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So, okay, what is your role within the company before we jump into the company itself?
So I'm the head of product, which is like right now kind of a joint like CTO / head of product role. So kind of managing the engineering team as well as the product team. But we're super small, so there's like 5 of us. So saying team is like it's like people.
Yeah, awesome. Well, yeah, that's why we wanted to spotlight these startups that are small because you're doing cool things. So tell us about what are you building? What do you guys do and what are you building?
So we are building a marketplace and supply chain management tool for the sale of coffee, and are going to be expanding into other specialty crops such as tea, cacao, that kind of stuff. Things that are like have a long shelf life but are still perishable. And the idea generally is that we're a social enterprise, so we have kind of impact goals as well as profit goals. We are VC funded, so definitely not a nonprofit or anything like that. The idea is that you can do kind of better than fair trade by building on top of that structure to get farmers better prices for better coffee. So for the most part, we're working with specialty or farmers who grow specialty coffee. And to just kind of quickly walk through a scenario for those of you who are not familiar with the supply chain for coffee, which I'm assuming is most of you, if you are, the idea behind the platform is that if you are a farmer in, let's say, Ethiopia, which is the country that we're launching in, you can either yourself or through your cooperative can sign up for the platform and get access to new markets. And then if you're a roaster in the US, Canada, really anywhere in the world, you can sign up and get direct access to those farmers. Right now, there's a whole bunch of intermediaries. And so we leverage those intermediaries in order to actually ship the coffee, but we open up direct access. And we are launching in Ethiopia actually in a few weeks. And we have the support of the Ethiopian government. And we're hoping, we are a global company, but we're also hoping to have the entire Ethiopian coffee value chain on the platform by 2025. So we're hoping that growth is going to be fast.
Wow, ambitious, but that sounds really awesome. So, okay, I know you said you're a small team, but what can you say about your engineering team, or maybe how are you different from the other startups or companies out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing that I will say, and I'm going to kind of go from like culture then down into more technical stuff, is that we're impact oriented. So, you're not just kind of like going in coding and like, helping to, optimize ads or like, improve Google search or whatever. You're working on a product that we hope will positively impact the lives of millions of people around the world. If we can achieve the scale that we want to, our product is hopefully going to improve the livelihoods of tons of people all around the world. Then we are truly global. So, we don't really have a domestic team. We have people that are like truly all around the world. I mean, technically the company is based in the US, but that's mostly just a kind of label. Like most of our team right now is in Ethiopia, but we're going to be hiring people, in the US and Canada and Europe, but also, in Latin America. We want our engineering team to be representative of all of the countries that we're operating in. And then I think like joining a company our size, you'll get the chance to build the system that you want to build. So we have a super solid foundation. I'll go into our tech stack a bit later, but we're still super small. And so we're looking for people who are excited about taking initiative. And, if you have an idea for how you want to build out the platform, like obviously you have to work within the stuff we've already chosen, but there's just like a lot of opportunity to do things your way. That also means there's a lot of opportunities for growth. If you join now, like we're looking for someone who could potentially grow into a VP of engineering kind of role or even higher than that. And then finally, and I think this stuff is a bit more standard, but we make decisions communally. We have a pretty standard, but I think like well-designed iterative review process where we make sure that we're constantly improving as a team. We do tests as well, to throw back to the last presentation. Yeah, that's I think that's, I mean, I can keep going, but that's it for now.
Okay, so I guess you kind of touched on the culture, but like specifically, if you're to talk about who would be a good fit and not a good fit for you, anything else you want to add for the culture fit?
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, I think that like because we're still small, we are looking for generalists who are not afraid to get their hands dirty. So unfortunately, if you've spent like the last 10 years working on one tiny part of a larger stack and you're really good at one thing, like keep an eye open for future job postings. But for now, it's really important that we find generalists. And so practically that means full stack and ideally also experience with cloud infrastructure, because we are, I mean, I'll go into all of that later, but we do want someone who can kind of grow with the company and help us scale. Kind of building on that, someone who can learn quickly and just get shit done. We need to move fast and be agile. And so if you're used to working in a heavy bureaucracy environment, that's not what you're getting into here. As I may have implied, someone who's excited about our impact mission and excited to work with a team, like a very cross-cultural team, you know, if you're like, that's something we really value. Huge bonus if you've already been a founding engineer at a startup, that like already having that experience would be amazing. Yeah, then the standard stuff, good communication, collaborative, all of that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, we're not, like, to go through a few more things that we're not looking for. This is definitely a senior position. If you're mid-level and looking to kind of level up, we might be interested in talking to you, but we're unfortunately not looking for junior engineers. Again, keep an eye open. It's something that we really want to do longer term, is be a place where people can learn and grow, but that's just not the role that we're looking for right now. And along with that, like, we need people who have real world production experience, because that, the experience of failing and succeeding in real environments and all of that is super important to success in this job. And then we are really global for now. It's much better if you're in either the like North, South America or European, African time zones. It's unlike, I mean, eventually we'll have operations on in like Southeast Asia and stuff, but for now it would be difficult time zone wise if you were further east than East Africa or further west than California.
Okay, so Sam, what open roles do you have right now, and what technologies do you use as a team?
So right now we just have one, which is a senior software engineer. This is ideally senior full stack, as I said before, but again, we're flexible. I guess just to add quickly, I'm like much more concerned with generalists who can learn quickly than I am that you specifically have experience with our stack. You know, if you have React experience and not Vue experience, I don't really care. You can ramp up, it's okay. We're willing to invest in people and give them the time to learn new technologies, as long as they have general front-end experience or general back-end experience. So on the front end, we use Vue and Nuxt, and then we have a GraphQL server that's built on Hasura and Apollo with a Node Express API. Our infrastructure is all AWS. We have a super simple setup right now where we're using App Runner, which is a kind of plug and play container service, and Postgres. As I mentioned, our app is containerized, and right now we're running a single service, but we want to split it up into microservices down the road. And then just on top of that, we use Retool for internal tooling and have like a few other random things scattered around.
Awesome. So I'm dropping your profile in the chat again if people want to see the role or anything about the company. Is there anything else you'd like to add about you, the team, anything before we wrap up?
Yeah, I mean, I think like just if you're excited about kind of contributing to a new thing, and you know, we try to have fun as a team, and you know, this is also a culture building exercise. Like, we're still figuring things out, and so if it's exciting to you to contribute to figuring those things out, you know, this is a role where, yeah, I mean, we've kind of set some things down, but there's still a lot to figure out. So yeah, if that sounds interesting to you, then definitely shoot me a message.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Sam, for representing CropConex. If you're interested, check it out in the link below. And we will have the meet and greet in about 30 to 45 minutes after the startup pitches. So if you'd like to ask more questions, go hang out with Sam and the rest of the reps a little bit later. Okay?
Cool. All right. Thanks a lot.
Okay, the next company we're going to speak with, let's talk to NextPay. Peter from NextPay. All right, Peter, I think you're muted. We'll unmute you, and then we'll get started. All right.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hey, Peter, can you tell us what's your role in the company before we get started talking about NextPay?
For sure. Yeah. Nice to meet everybody in the Arc.dev community, and likewise, Christine. My name is Peter, and I'm the Director of Engineering here at NextPay.
All right. So tell us about NextPay. What are you building? What is your product? What gets you excited about what you're building?
Yeah, for sure. Like, so NextPay currently is a Sorry, it's a bit late here. I'm currently in Manila with the team here. So NextPay's mission is really to be the backbone of every growing business here in the Philippines, and we're really focused on the Philippines market right now. Not to say we're limited to it, but it is a big market, and this is kind of where our edge is. The founders are Filipinos that have worked abroad in Canada, in the U.S., in tech companies, and myself as well spent a number of years in Silicon Valley, and we're really building a financial product and platform service to help businesses here grow in a Southeast Asian context, in a developing market context. So a little bit different perhaps than some of the other SF-based startups. Nonetheless, we are trying to build a very exceptional world-class engineering organization, and we're building competitive products for the local market here, right? And what that really means is we're trying to attract the best-in-class talent here, and we're building a great team that is going to be able to learn together, grow together, and deliver compelling products. Yeah.
So can you tell us a bit more about your engineering team? What is unique about the engineers in NextPay?
Gotcha. Yeah. I would say, uniqueness is probably dependent on who you talk to. But I will say the engineers at NextPay come from a broad set of background that are exposed to different kind of technical background as well as cultural background, right? Certainly we have foreigners such as myself. I'm not a Filipino myself. And we also have local folks that have been hired through the Philippines, and we have other folks throughout Southeast Asia. So I would say it is a diverse team, and that's what gives us the strength and insight to operate in this market.
So in terms of culture fit, what kind of people are you looking for, and what people do you think would not be a good fit? So on both sides of that.
Got it. I think a lot of us will start sounding like a broken record very soon. But to be honest, yeah, we are looking for folks who are relatively experienced. We are not looking for fresh grads or people with just roughly probably less than 3 years of experience. It's not a hard cutoff, but I find generally within your first year, you learn some of the basics, and after that, you can really develop into your own self with your own workflow. We're looking for generalist, yes, but if you have a specialization, you are really interested in just backend or front end, we can accommodate that. Our engineering team is currently 15 members large and growing. So we do have a avenue for a little bit of niche specialization, but we want really, self-driven, motivated engineers who can take a problem statement, unpack it into something that can be executed and deployed in production, basically.
So what technologies do you use, and what are the roles that you're looking to hire for right now in the team?
Sure. So the tech stack is pretty, I would say, vanilla. It's React on the front end, and we're using a framework called Strapi.js running on Node in the back end. Everything runs on AWS. We actually run our own Kubernetes cluster and, use the usual stuff you would expect, Redis for kind of in-memory cache, as well as locks, Postgres database, and yeah.
And did you mention which roles you're currently looking to hire for?
Oh, sorry. Yes. So we're looking for across the board, either you're a front-end senior engineer or back-end senior engineer or full stack. We were looking for DevOps a while ago, but we recently just filled it.
Okay, thanks, Peter. Okay, is there anything else that you'd like to add, or like a final word before we wrap up your pitch?
Yeah, I guess a bonus cherry on top will be someone who's willing to take more of a leadership role and really is okay with a dynamic environment with sometimes a lot of ambiguities, uncertainties, making hard technical trade-offs, and helping to improve really the resilience and stability of our platform. Yeah.
All right, thanks so much, Peter, for joining us. And we've linked information about the company and the roles in the chat below. And if you'd like
Awesome.
to meet hopefully, Peter, I know it's late for you. We're based in Asia, so I know it's a crazy time zone for us. Hopefully you'll be able to stay for the meet and greet. If not, I think we can find ways to connect with you guys a bit later.
For
All
sure.
right.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, Peter. Okay, so the next company we're going to speak with, let's talk to Proxi. We've got Maddie from Proxi here.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hey, yes, I can hear you. How are you doing today, Maddie?
Good, how are you?
Great. I'm excited to talk to you. So first, can I know what you do within the company before we dive into the company details?
Yes, so I'm the director of engineering at Proxi.
Awesome. So tell us about what is Proxi? What are you building? What is your product?
Yes, so Proxi is an interactive map making software. Our main focus is lowering the barrier of entry for people who have no map making experience in the past to actually translate all of their really in-depth local knowledge into a actionable map that they can embed in their website, send to all their fans, things like that. And our vision for the future is that we're going to create a database of really great local guides all across the world so that people want to come to us to find that trusted information rather than going to somewhere like Google Maps or Yelp where it's not really from trusted sources, all of their recommendations.
Right. Very cool. So tell us about the engineering team. How many engineers in your team right now, and what is unique about your culture?
Yes. So I am the director of engineering. I do most of the back end work. We have 2 front end contractors. One has 10 years of experience at LinkedIn, so she's a great mentor to other front end developers. And then we have an intern who joined us full time this summer and is now going back to part time, as well as another part time engineer and a part time PM.
Awesome. So tell us about the culture within the team. How would you describe the engineering team culture?
Yeah, so a bunch of us have backgrounds in big tech. So our code base is really built to scale, which is a little unusual for startups. We have really high code quality standards. And while we're a fast pace and love pushing out new features, we're really concerned about maintaining really high code quality and also really high user experience standards, since the goal of our company is to remove that barrier of entry to creating maps.
Go ahead. Keep going.
I was just going to say we're also an entirely women-founded company, so we're also really passionate about career development and mentorship for other women and other underrepresented groups in tech.
That's really awesome. Great to hear. Glad to hear that. So talking about your culture, who would be a good fit for joining your team, and who would not be such a great fit?
Yeah. So if you're really passionate about user experience or code quality or scalability, Proxi is a really great fit for you because those are things that we're passionate about. And we're also really passionate about ethics and user trust. So if that's something that you're interested in and have really strong opinions on, Proxi would also be a great fit for you.
Anything come to mind, like not on the other side, like not a great fit, someone that's into this?
So if you're generally not super excited about our mission statement, Proxi might not be the right place, or you're just not that excited about, if you're more excited about pushing out tons and tons of new features every single day, Proxi might not be the right place for you, just because we really do like to take our time with design and code reviews and maintaining really high standards.
Great. It's really, you're definitely mission driven. So I think you have to really resonate with what you guys are building to be a good fit. That makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
What technologies do you use? I think you touched on it a little bit, or are the open roles that you're looking for right now?
Mm-hmm. So on the front end, we use TypeScript and something called Lit Element. And then we connect to our backend with a RESTful API. And then on the back end, we use Rust with a MongoDB database. And all of our website and our databases are managed in Azure. And then we use GitHub for our code base. Right. And then for open roles, we actually just closed our senior front end role. But in December and January, we're looking to double or triple the size of our engineering team. So we're really looking to set up that pipeline for either really strong front-end engineers or full-stack engineers.
Awesome. Great to hear that you guys have some growth plans in the near future.
Yes.
So is there anything else you'd like to add, or a final statement before we wrap up this your pitch?
I don't think so. Just, if you're interested in Proxy, definitely reach out to us either at Maddie@proxy.co or careers@proxy.co, or check out our page.
Yes. So we've also linked their page here if you want to check out the details about the company. And thanks so much for joining us, Maddie.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having us.
All right. So the next company we're going to talk to, just checking on my list, let's talk to Tilt. Janisa, are you here to represent Tilt?
I am here.
Hi, Janisa. Thanks so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
Yes, I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great. I'm really excited to hear from all these such interesting startups doing really wonderful things. So before we jump into you all, can you tell me about what your role is within the company?
Yep, I work as a talent cultivation manager for Tilt. So I do all of our recruiting across the board. And specifically one of those areas is engineering and product.
Okay, great. So you are very in touch with the kinds of roles that you guys are looking to hire. Makes sense. So tell us about what are you guys building and what is your product?
Yeah. So Tilt is a web-based leave administration platform that really aims at streamlining the leave of absence process for both organizations and their employees. So essentially, our product takes the headache and the legal and compliance issues out of taking a leave of absence.
Awesome. I think, yeah, a lot of people have felt that pain point sometime in their lives. So, talking about the engineering team in particular, how many people are in the engineering team? What does that look like? And what's unique about the culture there?
Yep. Our engineering team is about 20 engineers. We've grown rapidly this year, which is really exciting. What I would say is unique about us is that even though we're a fully remote environment and we're across the country, our engineering team is extremely collaborative. Collaborative and communicative. We have created an open environment, not only between the engineers, but the engineers and also other people on our team. So a lot of the people who are in customer success or even our people and culture team are constantly connected to the engineers so that we understand what's going on and can see the value of their roles and each other's roles, which I think is incredible. Let me see. And then the other big thing about us is that people feel really comfortable experimenting with new things on our team. I would say that we have one of our virtues as a company is be curious, and it's something that we live by. And so encourage our engineers and our people in general to ask lots of questions and test and question the status quo, which opens up doors to letting them be unique and breaking new ideas. Something that we do, I can't remember the cadence of how often they do it, but they do Hackathon Friday. So where we give our engineers the opportunity to stop what they're working on and just work on whatever they feel creative about or excited about. So those are a couple of things that I think make our engineering team unique.
That sounds really fun. I like that kind of spirit that you have.
Yeah.
So speaking, again about the culture, who would be a great fit for you all, and who would not be such a great fit for your team?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have, as a company, we have 5 virtues. The first virtue is health and family first. The second virtue is be curious. Autonomy plus team always is number 3. Love our customers and fearlessly flexible. So if you encompass those things, we want you to be here. I think that some of those things are unique in that we're a startup, and so there's lots to do, but putting our health and family first is really important to us. And to be honest, some people are unable to separate those two things. And so if you don't see yourself being able to align in that matter, then ultimately it will not be a good fit. So that would also be the type of person who's not a good fit, is if you don't see you falling into those virtues. Our company very acutely looks at those things and makes sure is that every person that we're hiring aligns with those. The other thing that I would say is not that you have to be passionate about leave of absence to begin with, because I think that it's such a niche thing, but you have to know that there's going to be able to be some fire that's lit underneath you about this problem and this issue that we're solving. So we're looking for very people-focused, people-minded engineers who are excited about the person on the other side of the product, not just the product that they're creating.
Right. So also something, really aligning with the values, sharing those values is very important. Makes sense. So what technologies do you use within the engineering team, or any open roles or hiring plans for the near future?
Yeah. So we use Django and React. We do have an engineering manager position open right now, a product engineer open right now, and we now that we're coming up on the fourth quarter, are coming up with our hiring plans for next year. So we have a ton more software engineers to hire, which I'm super excited about. I would say in general, we typically go full stack. However, we do have a couple of engineers who sway on one side or the other. I think a lot of people have said it. In the stage that we're in right now, we really need people who are flexible and open to, even if you do have an area that you prefer or you prefer front or back end, you're willing and open to try things on the other side, depending on where we need help.
Awesome. Is there any last thing that you'd like to add or sort of
But Tills really talks the talk, but also walks the walk. So you will find that while you're here, although there's lots to do and we have a big mission to complete, we will prioritize your health and family. We will prioritize your curiosity and some of those things that I here as our virtues. And so this is the place to be if you find that those virtues really align with who you are.
That's great. So we've dropped the link to the company profile if you want to take a look at Tilt, and we'll also have the meet and greet in just probably about 10 or 15 minutes from now. So if you have questions about Tilt or any of the other companies you've heard from today, you can go stop by and ask those questions there. Because I know a lot of people have been asking questions in the Q&A, but we can't get to all of them. So if you do have those specific questions, go ahead and ask those in the meet and greet. So thanks so much, Janisa, for being here, and we will hopefully see you in a little bit at the meet and greet.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so much. All right, so we've got one final company that's going to be pitching with us today live, and then we'll head over to the meet and greet session a little bit. So the final company we're going to speak with is Clariti, and I know that we have two reps. We have Maiden and Axel. So I think both of you are welcome to the stage if you'd like to share.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Maiden.
Hi, I hope you guys hear me fine.
Yeah, I do. How are you doing here today, Maiden?
Well, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking, Christine.
So can we know what is your role within the company first before we talk about the company?
Yeah, sure. I am the People and Culture Coordinator or the HR Coordinator for Clariti. So I've been doing recruitment and onboarding and then employee engagement within the team.
Awesome. So tell us about what are you guys building over at Clariti? What's your product?
Sure. Clariti is a tech matchmaking company. So we do have partners in the contact center tech industry. So what we do is that we connect the partners to business enthusiasts or tech enthusiasts. What we are building right now is the product that we called Ignite. Ignite is recently launched like April this year, and it's a sales CRM tool. And we envision it as a sales tool that does it all. It does the outreach for potential customers, and sooner will provide automated analytics and leads. So our target audience are sales reps and sales and marketing companies.
Awesome. So tell us about your engineering team culture. What's your culture like, and who would be a good fit for that engineering team?
Right. So our engineering team, we are just a small team, but we are diverse and multicultural. uh, our developers are coming from Philippines, India, Bangladesh, and our owners or the founders themselves, they're based in US. They're from Los Angeles. And another cool thing about us is that we do let our developers, have their responsibility, take ownership of their work. And yeah, we have also do some engagement activities with the team, like a monthly engagement activity for the team.
So what kind of technologies do you use within the engineering team, or any open roles that you're hiring for right now?
Yes, actually, the tech or the stack that we're using right now in the software developer, uh we have the JavaScript, Node.js, and React.
And do you have open roles that you're currently hiring for the engineering team? Oops.
Yes, we do have for a full stack software engineer.
Awesome. So I think we've linked Clariti's page below. And is there anything else that you'd like to add, Maiden, before we wrap up here?
Well, not really, but I hope you guys join our team. You can find us in LinkedIn. Our page is in there. You can apply.
Thanks so much, Maiden.
Thank you so much, Christine. Thank you all.